Your brain is like a supercomputer. The more you use it, the better it gets. But are you using the best of your brain capabilities? And my name is Juan, and today's video I'm gonna show you how to maximize your brain utility and get the most from your business, your life, your social life, your relationship, and everything else in between. So this is gonna help you level up in life and help you secure a life worth living just with your brain. First off, your brain is super flexible, which is why they call your brain has this thing called neuroplasticity, and it have the ability to adapt and change to the environment. This allow you, your body, to just conjure up something in your mind, and your brain will automatically adapt to it. So what this means is just, for example, if you're in the jungle and you have to survive off of the stuff that's around you. You have never once in your life lived in the jungle before. Your brain have the ability to adapt to that and kind of just think of ways where you can change and your brain can change to make the best of your situation. So if you put yourself in a mental state where you are trying to get out of a rut, or you call it like a rat race, then your brain will automatically think of ways where you could act on and get out of the rut in the rat race. So try to use your brain and create stronger mental pathway linking to the environment, and so it can help you change yourself and change your environment around you. So by practicing having a positive mindset or having a specific goals where you have to do this, you have faith that you could do this, you have the desire to do this. This will allow your brain to give you small action. So in the book Think and Grow Rich, he mentioned that the more you think and have faith and plan out your action, the more your brain will start to feed you the necessary action that you need. So if you are really obsessed with being successful, your brain will slowly start to form the image of you being successful, and you will just have that desire in yourself to just think and grow rich. And it might seem really counterintuitive if we just spend all day thinking. This mental desire in your head to succeed, and it would you take all the action necessary so it can go to that goals. And I think some people think that you just gotta take action. Yes, you just gotta take action. And if you spend your time planning out ahead, it will save you your time getting lost in the process and losing your focus on your goals. Next, it's you just gotta repeat. Just repeat, repeat, repeat. Practice, practice, practice. So once your brain given you an action, so say like you should work on sales to be successful, and you decide to commit yourself to it. It will take time for you to become a successful salesperson. And that is through repeated practice. It's practice, practice, practice until you get that down and you could perform it effortlessly. Alex Hormozy stated this: when you practice so much until the point that you are bored of doing it, that's when you know that you have practiced enough. It's to the point that like it's no longer the conscious mind doing it anymore. It's the subconscious mind. So you just get on the stage and act as you're doing. It's the same thing with if you watch the show Hachino Ippo. In this fight where he was basically knocked out. His whole brain was shut off, and his conscious mind could not think anymore. That's when his practice really showed, because during that time, his subconscious mind took over and started hitting uppercut on the opponent. That action that he got right there is from a subconscious mind, and it's through years and years of practice. So, if you want to master a skill and work to your desire, your brain will have the ability to remember what you practice. Number 3, you should often give yourself small rewards. Give yourself small wins. So, what I think that people done wrong here is that they think out too far. And I think it's good to think out too far, but often they forget the short term. They always give their future self too much credit to the point that they will disregard your now self. It's always, what will your future self thinks? What would he do? What should you do to benefit him the most? You should be less kind. It might sound dumb. You should be less kind to your future self and give your now self small reward. And your brain is trained to always chase for the easiest dopamine. And no matter how much discipline you have, your brain will always try to take the easy path out. And that's just basic human nature. So why would you reach for a fruit that's low hanging and it can sustain you throughout the day, compared to going up high and reaching for a big fruit where you are risking the uncertainty, where maybe you'll fall to die or stuff like that. So your brain is wired to go for the short dopamine, and that's completely fine. You could use this to your advantage. And what I've seen a lot of companies do is that they use this to their advantage to make money. The shorter the video, short content, all of that are ways where they are telling the young mind to reach for a small fruit and gain that small dopamine. And that's working really successful. People on their phone 48 hours a day, just mindlessly scrolling just to get that small hit of dopamine. Imagine if you can spend 48 hours a day on your business. How successful would you be? And this is coming from giving yourself small reward where you can feel successful in the short terms and you can keep going. So find ways that you can give yourself small wins. Find ways that you can turn your work into short form content where you can just keep getting a dopamine after and after. Celebrate the small wins, give yourself reward, and find a way that doing these things will be fulfilling and more fun than just scrolling. Or you gotta fix the negative loop. This is I call this sometimes the rabbit hole, where once you go down into it, you just go down, 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 and it would never stop. And that is it's just a negative loop over and over again. Let me tell you a story. It was back in December 2023 when I was doing wrestling. This was my first ever trigger to doing something physical, something kind of just a combat sport. And personally, it took a massive toll on me. My body was sore every day. I have to, ice myself. Again, I have to eat less because I had to cut my weight as well. That caused this mental shift in myself to kind of quit. It started just a small seed. And that small seed was just, hey, this is tiring. After every round, I just think, hey, this is tiring. I'm done with this. And winter is the time for me to rest. This is a small seed where I link me running with me quitting. And from there, it just grow and grow. It started with me running and then me wrestling. And the next is just me uh, getting injured, me doing a match, all of that. So all of aspect of wrestling made me want to quit. And let me be honest with you, it was maybe 2 weeks since I started wrestling, and I already contemplating quitting. I skipped 2 to 3 practice, 4 to 5 practice, and then just car start to just stacked up to the point that like I I I stopped showing up to practice like 4 days in a row. And yeah, that negative mental loop took me down and lower, 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 lower until I found myself that I have no motivation for this anymore. And at one point, I decided to not pull the trigger on this too fast. I decided to just talk with a friend. And honestly, that was worth it. He took me out of a negative mindset of just, quitting. And I decided to try out wrestling again. And yeah, that was probably one of the best decisions I made in my life because that was my most enjoyable season of the sport that I've had in years. So your brain will tend to take us in you in a negative mindset, and it would always get this grass is green on the other side type of vibe, and it always just trying to get you out of the situation where you just suffer a tiny bit, just for a tiny bit. So, for example, in my business right now, my mind is saying that like doing email, doing sales call, doing all of that is boring. You shouldn't do that. And yes, it's boring, but it shouldn't link to me quitting. And yeah, so just try to find the trigger of yourself when you get into this negative mindset and just go into a down loop forever. And look, last year during this winter, I stopped my business because I decided to, you know, go into one of these my negative mindset, and it just keep going down, and I didn't start my business back until like February. Now, ever since I noticed that trigger happening right now, I changed myself to focus on my business more, and it can make me grow because I know what to trigger my negative loop will be. Just take note of it and just learn what make you go down that rabbit hole. Next, you gotta stay focused. And what I mean by focus is that you shouldn't keep yourself just busy. You should do the most effective task that you could offer first, and then move down into the smaller and smaller tasks until you ran out of brain capability, until you have become brainless. Then at that point, you can rest. That might sound very, very challenging, and I think that as well. Because last summer, I went on this everyday, day to day grind for 3 months straight where wake up, grind, sales call, and then I wasn't done until 5 p.m. And I started my day at 7. And for some people, they might think, yeah, that's not enough. For me, it was my first time working for hard that long, and it was very mental devastating. And at the end of the 3 month where I had a small period where I'm going from staying at home to moving to college. I let myself go for 2 months because I feel like I deserve it. And that really made me think, what is about going to work and working hard so so mentally negative where I need to reward myself with a negative action that harm myself by just consuming dopamine and all of that. And I decided that I wasn't taking my mindfulness enough. I didn't take time to think, to journalize, to journal, to read, and I just commit straight to my business. I think that's really good of me that I'm committed to my business. But I forgot to take 5 to 10 minutes just to take myself out of the situation and just allow myself to think. And personally, I've noticed that a lot of time when I work, I was just working to run away the clock. And I was doing these mindless tasks where it was somewhat productive, but it didn't really contribute to my business at all. So, what I suggest my future self and me doing, and you guys doing, is just take 5 to 10 minutes, breathe, journal, and just let yourself think of what task will benefit you, and just let your mind rest for a bit. And this will help you stay focused and relax yourself so you can make a better decision to work. This one is the most important. If you want to take anything out of this, just take out this one. You are the 5 person that you spend the most time with. And I've realized this lesson is especially true when I allow myself to be in an environment of college student. And I've noticed myself change depending on the friend group I'm in. And the more time that I'm spending with those friend group, I will make that my personality if I hang out with them more. So this means that I should spend myself, my time, my effort, spending time with winners. So what that means is people who will not benefit your goals, people who won't keep you on track for your goals. Though it might seem harsh, but try to limit as much interaction with them as possible. And that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to find time where I could hang out with people who have ambition and drive. So at some point it would motivate me. One example of this is I found this guy and in my school that I was going to, where he is a boxing champion. He spent time staying on track, exploring things, doing the masculine things. And I feel that kind of lacking in myself. Just a masculine drive to just explore and try new things. I've noticed lacking in me. And ever since I've hung out with him, I've been trying a lot of new things. First, right now, what I'm doing is trying out boxing, which is the thing that I've been wanting to do. But for some reason, my mind just won't commit fully to it. But ever since I've been hanging out with this guy, my body decide that hey, boxing is a good idea, and like say hey, just exploring nature is a good idea. So spend time hanging out with the winners. If especially if you're building a business right now, spend most of your time hanging out with other entrepreneurs that are like-minded and like to just work hard like you do. So I've been trying to find a close circle of entrepreneur, and I've been connecting with a couple of people of the same of my niche, who are different niche, and that will change my perspective on what I should approach in my business. And I never seen a growth better than this type of growth. So rewiring your brain isn't just about you doing the mental work. You should do both the physical work and the social work so you could change your mind where it could effectively benefit you. So if you like a video like this where I just talk about all the experience, how I changed myself through business, social work, just let me know in a comment. And that's pretty much it. And that, see it.